caught the giggle pops at school today? From Lydia Kay and Molly May. Their lips started wiggling. Their shoulders jiggled. Then they broke out with the giggles.
This is a look at something amazing that happened one week at Riverbend Elementary School in Juneau, Alaska. Words became alive. Children learned that words and images just don't sit on pages. They can bubble up from within their own imaginations and burst out to touch others, developing literacy through the performing arts.
Performance literacy is when students take their own work that they write, the original work, and then they perform it for an audience.
But then the lion turned around and the monkey's like, so I'm running and running and running. Well, it makes me feel kind of happy, you know, just watching those crowds laugh, smile, clap. It makes you feel good. Just, you know, like you're famous or something.
And they usually start out doing, just telling it to one kid, performing for one kid, and then perform for a small group of kids. And then they'll perform in front of the whole class, and then they'll invite other classes in to perform.
For 1 week, a performance poet
Would not like it on my toast, my roast, a burrito, a Frito, a dip, or a chip.
and a storyteller
And little Amik's grandmother had a needle made of ivory, and she was sewing a parka for Amik to wear outside.
helped the teachers show the children how to use their own imaginations to create and perform their own original poems and stories. First, the children got to see and experience what storytelling and performance was all about.
Take a spoon now. Go. Sure is good.
Sure is good. Sure is good.
She will act out this poem now spontaneously. Are you ready? Little Miss Muffet. Okay, you got your spoon. Here we go. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey, when along came a spider that sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Version number 2 by Bruce Lansky. Version number 2 by Bruce Lansky. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey, when along came a spider that sat down beside her, and then Miss Muffet ate the spider.
And I'll start with a story. It's one of my favorite stories. And this is called the story of the Hungry Crow. And it goes like this. One day there was a crow in the tree. He was hungry, looking for some food, but there wasn't any food at all except he saw a garbage can. So he flew over, but he couldn't get the lid off. He wondered what to do. And then he saw a rather large brown bear that was walking along. Big, powerful brown bear. So the crow flew over. And he said, "Hey, bear, there's some food over there." And the bear said, "Where?" And the crow said, "Over there." And the bear saw the garbage can, and he walked over, and he knocked that lid right off. Pow! And every story has 4 parts to it, ladies and gentlemen. The first part is the beginning. The last part is the... This part is the problem. This part is the... It's the solution to the problem.
Oh, Cindy, sassy Cindy.
Sassy Cindy. You send me, Cindy.
Another one bites the dust.
The storytelling and poetry, when they're acting it out, it gives them It makes the language come alive for them. It expands their language, expands their vocabulary, and they start living the stories and the poetry.
I really enjoy performance poetry. I think it is a new and a different style of teaching. It goes beyond the scope of just decoding, sounding out. I think teachers tend to chunk up reading into these little components, and they take the fun out of it. I mean, that's just what we do inherently. We take the fun out of it, and this kind of reminds me that reading is fun.
It makes me feel good inside because I'm letting my imagination out.
All of a sudden, they're excited about writing, they're excited about poetry, they're excited about performing.
Okay. Young sir, young leopard, please have a seat.
Into this big blizzard, and the snow was going everywhere, and they couldn't see anything but the crow. Caw, caw. And then they ended up in Nome, Alaska, and they won the race. Yay!
Here's the kitten's end of the story. We kittens are so playful, yet we aren't very wakeful. We want to play with you, you know we won't sue.
And when kids read a passage or a story once, you know, it's choppy, it doesn't sound cohesive. When they're doing performance poetry, they get to read something over and over again. It improves the fluency. It gives them that feeling like I can read the way that I speak, and I can read with meaning and intonation. Those are all incredible aspects of reading that get lost when we just read a book or a passage once, and in performance poetry we get to do that, you know, read the passage over and over again.
They read the poems over and over again, and then they improve their fluency and their rate of reading, and they read more than they normally would because they're so excited about it.
Where's food? Where's food? I need a survivor.
If they don't have a chance to create and perform their own written works, lots of kids just have no interest in the writing, and they have no interest in the reading, and they have no interest in the speaking and listening parts either, because no, they don't get much of a chance to. And often teachers don't have ways to motivate their students, or they say their students are unmotivated. But what I find with the poetry and the storytelling is that lots of kids want to do that. And so they want to write. They want to do their writing. They want to do their speaking and their listening. They want to read their piece again and again until they can perform it.
Up in a tree. There was nothing. And then she walked away.
Performance poetry is good teaching. It's good teaching strategies, and it's modeling what's good for children because it's a very kinesthetic approach to learning, and it's very brain research showing that you're using multiple strategies and using different parts of the brain. I did see an increase in our writing scores, and we do a state assessment, writing assessment. I did see improving. I did see that the kids really had some better patterns to their writing.
Every state has standards, and the standards always have reading and writing and speaking and listening skills. And since these kids are doing that, you know you're meeting part of your standards. And anytime you take a kid who works really hard at doing things like that, when you even give them a standardized test, they'll do better on it because they've been reading and they've been writing. Their reading and writing skills are better because they are motivated to do it. Our first poet up from Mr. Wick's class, that's Allison Schneller. If you'd be kind enough to come up.
Finally, at the end of the week, it's showtime.
The Cherry Bug by Allison Schneller. The cherry bug is a berry bug. It is red and has a stem. It has a seed in the middle, and it can even count to 10. The cherry bug is a berry bug. You can bake it into pies. Be sure to bake it more than once so you can give it a try.
We're supposed to write about an Alaskan wild animal, so here it goes. It was a foggy day, and the wind was blowing. It was the day of the Iditarod, and all the dogs were ready. But the musher who always lost was determined to win. So, and then, bang, off they went. They had ran about a mile.
She has read me her poetry at home, and I was really proud to listen to her read it to me, and she's really interested in it. I think it's really good because it gives children a chance to express themselves. Maybe they can express their emotions or feelings, and I think that's really important for kids to do.
We'll break your windows and smash your soft drive. The computer bug is a crashing bug. It goes into your input, it tackles your memory, and goes out your output.
We deserve a poetry break today.
Okay, listen up. I'm Nile the crocodile, the reading reptile. I'm a dealer of poetry, and I'm going to take poetry from the page to the stage.
The first time Nile Stanley came to our building, he began kind of a poetry contest. The whole week focused on this poetry contest. The kids wrote and then performed their poem. Two of the students in my room won the poetry contest, which was a school-wide contest. Both students had learning disabilities. These are kids who feel like, on a day-to-day basis, feel like they can't read, feel like they're not as good as other kids. They won the school-wide poetry contest. I mean, it was phenomenal. They were jumping up and down, hugging each other. And that is something we don't often see with kids with learning disabilities. And it gives them such an incredible message, like, I can do this, I may succeed.
If a teacher continues to use the same strategies over and over again, and the child is still not learning, then who's the slow learner? And I think, if anything, what Nile does is he teaches teachers how to use multiple strategies. And again, if they're not learning, then we're not doing something right. And I'm really excited that my teachers, who are so open to learning and not just more is better, but doing it well.
I want them to know that they can write and perform their own stories. I want them to know what a story is. I want them to be able to see a story and know what it is and be able to communicate that. Because if you can't communicate a story, whether it's a story about something that's wrong with your house, it might be a story that you have to relate to the mayor, it might be a story in a letter that you're writing to the editor, it might be a story to your boss about why you need to have some time off. If you can't relate your ideas and communicate them in a story, then you're basically lost in our culture, because there is no other way of communicating. It's all stories.